Greetings. I am Tabin of a Mind Transformed, and this is either Manna for Your Journey or Random Revelations, depending on the platform through which you are viewing this. And depending on that platform, like, love, share, subscribe. So let's get this in front of the algorithm to get out to as many people as possible. All right, let's get into the discussion. Genesis 3 documents the fall of man. And ultimately, we boil it down to simple terms of they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And that's true. But we miss the larger context. They had the opportunity to eat from the tree of life, which would have allowed them to remain in God's presence forever. They would have lived forever, sheltered by the Most High God. They would have sat in the presence of Jehovah, the Lord, forever. They would have ate of his provision, sat in his protection, commune with him forever. Or they had a choice. They could eat from the tree of knowledge. They had the opportunity to either pursue presence or pursue knowledge. They chose knowledge. Unfortunately, we live in today's world where many people inside and outside the church are making the same choice. They are choosing knowledge over pursuing God. The danger with that, God never intended us to learn anything apart from him. When he placed Adam and Eve in the garden, they didn't have a teacher. God was their teacher. So everything they were going to learn about life, God was going to teach them. He was going to give them the proper context and the proper understanding of life. They chose knowledge on their own. That knowledge on their own created distance between them and God. And people pursuing knowledge are usually creating distance between themselves and God because they don't submit that knowledge to God. Adam and Eve ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and their eyes were open. They realized they were naked. But in their knowledge, being so puffed up with pride and arrogance in that knowledge, neither one of them stopped to consider what was already true. They were naked every day. They were naked the day before they ate of the tree. They were naked the day before that, and the day before that, and every day before that. And God never said it was a problem. And that's what knowledge does apart from God. When we lean to our own understanding by not allowing God to examine that understanding, by now not submitting it to God so he can tell us what's true and what's right and what's factual, what applies to us and what we need to throw out, we have the potential to call what God says is right, wrong, and we call what God says is, we say what's wrong, and God says there's not a problem with it. There was never an issue with Adam and Eve being naked, but their knowledge told them there was. It's why we live in a day and age where we have doctrine that sounds good, but it's not biblically sound. We have popular doctrine, but not biblical doctrine. We live in the day of the modern day Pharisees because of the pursuit of knowledge. Pursue God. Love you. Be blessed.